Greetings, folks. Iolair here, coming to you with another update from the World of Warships development blog. This article was posted today, Monday, August 17th, and Wargaming is rolling out a series of changes to ships that they are testing in 097. So I haven't seen an announcement from Wargaming about a patch update. Often with these changes, there's a patch that has to be downloaded to the PC or the clients to roll these changes out. Maybe it already got rolled out, or maybe and I just missed it, or maybe Wargaming is yet to announce a patch change. But in any case, there are a series of changes that are being rolled out. I am going to jump around here a little bit because I want to start with the ships that I think the audience is going to be more interested in to start with. So first of all three of the upcoming Tech Tree U.S. Navy battleships, so the USS Kansas, the Minnesota, and the Vermont, are all receiving changes. First of all three of them are losing the buffed repair party consumable available to the other Tech Tree U.S. Navy battleships. So the standard repair party consumable that most ships receive repairs 1/2 of 1% of their hit points per second. The U.S. Navy battleships or Tech Tree battleships receive a buffed version of that repairs 2/3 of 1% of their health per second. And Wargaming is bringing the Kansas, Minnesota, and Vermont, or giving them the standard repair party consumable that repairs 1/2 of their health per second. So presumably this is seen as some balance to some other changes that they're making. So for the Kansas, it is only the repair party consumable that's being changed. For the Minnesota, they are also changing the armor of the deck, sides, and torpedo bulges, or anti-torpedo bulges, from 32 to 38 millimeters. And this will be very good news for those who like to play battleships and like to try to mitigate impact from HE spam. So 32 millimeters can be penetrated by upper tier light cruisers with IFHE, but they are not going to be able to penetrate 38 millimeters even with IFHE. The only ships that are going to be able to penetrate 38 millimeters are the German heavy cruisers, as well as the super cruisers like the Alaska, Azuma, Kronstadt, etc. And then the other change that's being made to the Minnesota is that her Sigma is being improved from 1.7 to 1.8. So Sigma controls how tightly the shells are grouped within the ellipse, that the dispersion ellipse of the ship. So the higher the Sigma, the more likely the shells are to zero in or get closer to the center of the dispersion ellipse. So this should make the Minnesota more accurate. And then Vermont is going to receive quite a few changes. So her deck armor is being increased from 32 to 51 millimeters. That's a pretty big deal because that means, again, only the German battleships, the German heavy cruisers and the super cruisers will be able to penetrate her deck armor with HE. Not even the, not like I said, not even other heavy cruisers with IFHE would be able to penetrate 51 millimeters. Other than I think the Henri would be able to do it. So the next update is that the side platings of the side plating armor is being increased from 32 to 38 millimeters. That's similar to what the change on the Minnesota. Again, I mentioned that the repair party consumable is being nerfed to the standard repair party consumable. Her turning circle is being improved from 960 to 850 meters. Now, 850 meters is still a pretty big turning circle, but for a tier 10 battleship, that's pretty tight. That's a pretty small turning circle. So that should give the Vermont some better maneuverability. And then another big update is her Sigma is being improved from 1.7 to 1.9, and that should make her shells substantially more accurate than they are right now. And then they've also mentioned here that the ballistics of both the HE and AP shells will lose speed more slowly, and this will make their trajectory flatter, so make it easier to hit targets at range. So a number of changes that are being made, mostly good, other than the repair party change, but most of these changes look like to make these ships more effective. Unfortunately, there's not any mention here of making those ships faster, which I know has been a common refrain from the community when they first saw these ships or the details of these ships getting rolled out. But maybe that's still yet to come. Wargaming has also announced some planned changes to the upcoming Premium Tier 7 USS Florida. Her reload's being nerfed from 30 to 31.5 seconds. Her maximum AP shell damage is being decreased from 10,500 to 9,500. Again, these are 356 millimeter or 14-inch shells. These are not larger than that, so I think that damage is okay. The ballistics are also being made floatier, so they will lose speed faster, and that will make their flight trajectory more arcing than they are currently. So some changes to the Florida. Okay, and then the other update, again, I mentioned I was jumping around here. I'm trying to focus on the ships first that I think more people are going to be interested in. The upcoming Premium Tier 8 U.S. Navy cruiser, the USS Anchorage, that we are going to be building in port starting in 098, is receiving a series of changes, or frankly, these are nerfs. So her smoke screen, the dispersion time, which is how long the smoke sticks around, the duration of the smoke, is being reduced from 124 to 104 seconds. So she will lose the classic U.S. Navy smoke, which is very long lasting, and we'll get something that's more sort of in the middle of the road, or kind of an average. 104 seconds is still going to be enough to fire, I think, I think her reload's 15 seconds. So what? 4 or 5 salvos, something like that, depending upon adrenaline rush. Her AP shells are also being modified, so she will no longer receive the upper tier U.S. Navy heavy cruiser shells that we see on the Baltimore, the Buffalo, and the Alaska. They're changing these to be more like the New Orleans. The alpha is being decreased from 5,000 to 4,600. The shell velocity is being improved from 726 to 853 meters per second. Again, this is just for the AP shells. And then the armor penetration is being lowered. So these are still going to get the buffed U.S. Navy AP penetration benefits, but the alpha and some of the armor penetration is going to be decreased. And I can kind of see why that would be. A 12-gun, 203 millimeter U.S. Navy heavy cruiser, seeing a lot of mid-tier cruisers is probably going to wreck them pretty hard if it has the standard U.S. Navy cruiser shells, or at least the upper tier cruiser shells. So I can kind of see where Wargaming might be going with this. That's just kind of my read on it. All right, so I'm going to go back to the top and we'll wrap up the other changes being made. So the Tier 9 Italian destroyer, premium destroyer, the Paolo Emilio, her main battery reload is being buffed from 12 to 10.7 seconds. The München, which is an upcoming premium tier 7 German light cruiser, her main battery reload is being nerfed slightly from 4.8 to 5 seconds. But what to me is more interesting is that her ballistics are being changed for both HE and AP. They will lose speed faster, and this will make their shells floatier, which is, as a German cruiser fanatic, that's not something that I'm very enthusiastic about. But I haven't had a chance to play the München, so I can't tell whether this is going to be a serious negative impact to her performance or not. I'm assuming Wargaming's making this change because these changes because the current testers of the München are being more effective than, or having much better results than Wargaming would want to see on a tier 7 light cruiser. That's just kind of my assumption or my guess here. And then the last change is to the upcoming special tier 10 U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, the FDR. Her rocket parameters are being changed. So the alpha per rocket is being decreased from 2,000 to 1,650, and the chance of fire from, well, they say shells, they mean rockets, but the chance of HE from the rockets is being decreased from 7 to 5%. So presumably, again, the rocket attacks from the FDR have been too effective, and they need to dial them down a little bit. That's kind of my read on it. So a series of changes, again, to ships that are coming up here shortly. Some of these are actually being rolled out in 098, like the Anchorage. We don't have dates on the other items on the other ships yet, but some interesting updates. So I hope that you found the information here interesting and useful. Thanks much for watching, and as always, we hope to see you out there on the virtual seas, and we wish you happy sailing.